Well, Hyderabad have knocked Bangalore out of the Eliminator. That's right, it was 132 to get for Hyderabad. Looked like there were a few hiccups somewhere, but in the end, the experience, Kane Williamson and Jason Holder, ensuring that the team got there with 6 wickets to spare. So that's how it stacked up. It was 131 that Bangalore scored, batting first, 131 for the loss of 7 wickets. Never really got going. The Hyderabad bowling was sort of all over them. Bangalore did manage to pull it back for themselves just a little bit, but it was always going to be Kane Williamson. If he was there, he was going to keep everything calm and steer the chase home. I'm Gaurav Kapur. I have with me Joy Bhattacharjya and Shaun Pollock. This is my 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live. And Shaun, you called it at the midway when we did the Cricbuzz Combox. You called it. You said that you need Kane Williamson to be around to take them to this chase. I did say they need Kane Williamson to shepherd them. Some people thought I was making a joke about New Zealand and sheep. I'm not. It was just what he needed to do. He needed to shepherd his flock, senior player in Hyderabad, and did what was required today.
Yeah, he did. And, we take you back to that Punjab game, which you mentioned that they might be reminding them about. And in that game, I think after the power play, I think Bairstow and Warner, it was probably 60 without loss.
And they were chasing,
and they were chasing 125. And then they lost the wickets. The two of them got out with some ambitious batting. And then all of a sudden, they didn't have anyone to get them over the line. And he's just shown you that in the middle overs, if you just stay calm, if you just take your time, it doesn't matter how late you take it, if you're still there at the back end, invariably you win the game. And it was a wonderful effort in him just being the person who was going to bat through. The strike rate didn't really count. 113, that's the least of the worries. He's there, not out on 50. He's found a partner in Holder, and they've got the team over the line. So credit to them. Sometimes these small chases can be just as entertaining. There was an entertaining one for us here watching. They're the side that's full of confidence. They've played the best cricket over the last week or so, 2 weeks, and justified to be into the next eliminator.
Well, Joy, you don't want to take anything away from the experienced, cool head of Jason Holder on the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. What Jason Holder has done is, and one of the reasons why Williamson is probably more calm than he normally would be is because he has Jason Holder on the other side. Yeah. He knows this man's not going to take any unnecessary risks. He's not going to throw away his wicket. He's not going to have this sudden rush of blood. Just look at that partnership, Just calmly 65 runs, 47 balls. It's not that the run rate, strike rate is very high. It's there, but that's what you need. The question is, again, when we look at stats, which is why stats misrepresent. Somebody will look at this stat many years later and look, Kane Williamson scored at 112, 113. He didn't need to score it any better. The question is, how much did he need to do to make that, game sure? And my only cavil with them, and it's a small one, is I thought they should have finished it off in the penultimate over instead of taking it to the last, because it's always a bit nerve-wracking, and one inner edge and one something can get it for them. But hey, that's just being asking them to be perfectionists. I thought that was a superb chase otherwise.
Would you agree with me that Kane Williamson and Jason Holder shepherded the team to the win?
Absolutely. And, on shepherds and sheep, I just want to tell you one thing. One of the most important problems that New Zealand is causing in the world is methane emissions coming from their sheep. Yeah. From the back end of their sheep is one of the largest causes of environmental pollution. So, when every time Simon Dool comes and talks to you about, we are this clean country, say the methane coming out of the backside of your sheep is changing the world. It's true, dude. It's true.
You got too much time on your hands, Joy.
Yeah, but I use that time to look up, basically methane emission from sheep.
Yeah, I think he's had too much time in the back end of this tournament. That's what he's.
The rear end of the tournament.
The rear end of the tournament. Okay, no more gas. All right, we'll talk some serious cricket right now. Let's have a look at what the Bangalore bowlers did. I tell you something. I mean, Zampa, we got to talk about Zampa, because Zampa had bowled his first 2 overs for 2 runs, and then he didn't do too badly in his next 2 overs as well. There's 14 dot balls there. Chahal gold as well, 4 overs going at a run a ball. Moeen Ali just bowled the 1, Dubey bowled the 1, Washington Sundar bowled the 2. I don't know, Shaun, just too many choices, right?
Yeah, I don't really have a problem with the choices. I think they did brilliantly well. Over the years, when we look at RCB, often this is where we point the fingers and say, oh, not good enough, didn't get their team over the line. That's where they lost the games. I thought they were brilliant too. What they needed to do is get wickets up front and had to get one of the big wickets. They got that. They put them under pressure. The spinners in the middle were absolutely brilliant. They gave them nothing. They built the pressure. They picked up other wickets. And they just couldn't finish the job off. And the moral of the story is that they were at least 20, 25, 30 runs short of what they could have got. And it was also down to when de Villiers got out. I mean, if de Villiers had been there for another 10 deliveries to the end of the innings, they probably would have had a 150, 160. So he'll be disappointed with that. But I can't fault the bowlers, particularly at the back end. When you're talking about trying to defend 8s and 9s at the back end of a T20 game, when you've got Kane Williamson with all his experience and a holder already set in a big partnership, you're probably only going to win those 2 out of 10. So you can have absolutely no qualms with the bowlers today. They were really good.
Yeah, you got to say Bangalore didn't really put a foot wrong when it came to their bowling. It's just that their batsmen just hadn't given them enough. And that was the problem. They kept getting the wickets. They got the breakthroughs. But eventually the asking rate was just never an issue, which meant that Bangalore had to go for the kill and just, get Hyderabad all out. That was perhaps your best option. We have Joy over here, of course, who has won our My 11 Circle Badge of Honor. Well done. Well done, young sir. Well done. Good job. You've won it for the 13th time this season. You're definitely doing much better than Bangalore's been doing in this tournament. You're
Kolkata for that matter.
Sure, I don't even
That
want to
was
say
unnecessary. Shaun, that is so
unnecessary perhaps, but rather enjoyable. Just a little bit of. I mean, this is what they call a kiss and a slap, right? I mean, he wins the badge of honor and then Shaun comes in with this uppercut right there. But congratulations, you win our My 11 Circle Badge of Honor. And for Bangalore, they're going to be looking at playoffs and they're going to say, there's just too much methane here because it stinks. It does for them, doesn't it, Joy? It's just yet another playoff that they have crashed out of.
Yeah, they look at it and, it's exactly what Shaun was saying. Every year, they blame their bowlers. Every year, they look at their bowlers and say, our bowlers couldn't do it for us. We get back, especially the Chinnaswamy, their bowlers keep getting back. Everyone gets back to the Chinnaswamy. But the truth of it is, this time, the bowlers did a pretty decent job of it. I thought Siraj was good. Chahal was brilliant throughout. I thought their bowlers gave them enough to play with. It's their batting that was timid. It's their batting that didn't just give them enough to go over the line today. And this is what I'm saying, that it's a surprising one that, when they go back, Bangalore has to look at this team and say, we've actually got enough. Now, no more tinkering with this team. We've got enough. We've got enough players here to win a championship if necessary.
Yeah.
Now, can we just be calm about our choices, empower our guys, and just try and win this? Yeah, because it's not new players who are going to win it for them. It's just better management of these.
Correct. It's their batting. They would have thought that, usually it's Chinnaswamy where they play their games and, the batters do really well and the bowlers don't really have that much of a chance with that, with that small ground. This time the bowlers, got some favorable conditions and they did really well through the tournament. It was just their batting. You're right. And Polly, I do want to just, talk about one thing. It's again, they made 4 changes today. And this is a thing with Bangalore, right? There's just, you somehow just feel like that perfect 11 is somehow just always eluding them. And I don't blame them because you've been with the team, you'll know it's a really tough task to get that balance right with 25 odd players. You've got foreigners, you can only 7 Indians. It's a tough one, isn't it?
It is a tough one. I mean, one of them was enforced by the injury of Morris, and Zampa came and did really well. But yeah, I think you can get a bit confused at times searching for the perfect 11 rather to try and get the 11 to perform as perfectly as possible. I think that's often the key. It's not often about changing. It's about the guys who are in the mix, getting them to play better. For example, if we just have a look at their performance of their last 5 games where they've been less than par. If you look at the middle, Washington, Sundar and Dubey coming in the middle overs, they needed to get more out of those guys. And that's sometimes where, as a management team, you've got to work with those guys to get their confidence up, to give them good game plans so that when they get to the crease, they knock it around, hit it on the floor for 2 or 3 deliveries, pick up a boundary, build their confidence, and then go for the big shots. Because that's often where you can improve the team's performance. It's not always about the grass is greener, get someone else in. It's actually about how do we get the 11 that we want to trust for most of the tournament. How do we get them full of confidence with good game plans, playing at their best level of cricket?
Yeah, and that seems to have. You thought that Bangalore had it. I mean, because they started off. Remember, they went into this eliminator on the back of 4 losses. So I don't want to talk about the 4 losses. The positive I want to talk about is that if you go through despite 4 losses, just tells you, it's testament to how good your first half of the tournament has been, right? You've just been so strong and solid. And then the wheels just came off, Joy. They just came off. They're 5 in a row now lost, and you're out of the tournament.
Yeah, I just go back to what Paul is saying. Batting, playing positions, where the players were playing, and team composition. And it's about actually, once, say, SRH discovered that this is a formula that works for us, they tinkered very little. Whether the batsman got 1 or 50 or 100, it mattered very little. You know what Australia used to do in its best years, and Australia in its finest years in Test cricket? Somebody would come in like, Stuart McGill, one would get injured or do something stupid and get banned. And Stuart McGill would come in. He'd take tons of wickets. The moment one was fit, he'd go back in again. It didn't matter, okay? Because they understood what it meant, Similarly, you see a lot of those guys. Brad Hodge came in, scored runs, tons of runs whenever he got a chance.
Yeah.
Moment the Markwa was fit or anyone else was fit, he was out. So good teams, what they do is they have a shape to them. They have a shape that they stick to, and they don't look so capricious. Again, I want to use that word. Harsh also used it today, incidentally. It's just that they just seem to change a little bit too much for the players' liking, for the players to feel settled. That's all.
Yeah. Capricious. Yeah, Paulie? Do you agree? You concur?
I like it.
You concur?
I like it.
I concur. You concur? I concur. You concur?
Capricious.
Yeah. Capricious.
But make sure your players don't get too precious.
That's also true.
Yeah, well, it's just, I think the only sort of criticism I would have for Hyderabad would be that they got Jason Holder in pretty early, Paulie. I mean, Mitchell Marsh, pretty much the first game got injured. They got Jason Holder in. They took their time to play him, right? And Holder showed them that you should have played me before, because look at me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually have an issue with that. I mean, he wasn't in the squad. He comes in. In many ways, you've got to sit and earn your time. And then I think the key for them was the balance. Once they lost Bhuvi, they had to find another option with the ball in hand, and particularly one that could bowl with a new ball in those first 6. And he was the only go-to. It was a blow for them. Mitchell Marsh, very much the role that he's played is what they would have wanted Mitchell Marsh to play for them. Contributing with the ball in hand and then whacking it at the back end. And they're slightly different cricketers. I think you're going to get more from the bowling part of Holder than you will from Marsh. But he has been brilliant for them. Absolutely brilliant. He came in, he got to know everyone, fitted into the squad. And they do feel to me like a squad who makes people feel welcome and settled. And then once he's come in, he's done really well. So he's been a good find, and you can't really say it's too late because they're still in the tournament. They're into the Eliminator. So
is it the qualifier? Let's just call it the semi-final.
Semi-final. Okay.
This is a quarterfinal.
Eliminator 2 or what?
In the semi-final.
Yeah.
So it's qualifier 2 because what happens is today, for today's game, we have a negative and a pessimistic sort of bent of mind where we say we're focusing on the person who loses and then goes away. So it's called an eliminator. But for the next game, it's a qualifier and an eliminator because one team goes out and one team goes to the final. But there we have a more optimistic and a positive frame of mind. And therefore, we only look at the qualifier because we only care about the person going to the final, and the person who's leaving, we do not bid farewell to them. Right? So that's what it is, which is why I just like to call it a semi-final, because when I call it a semi-final, all of you immediately know that the winner plays the final and the loser is Betty bye-bye. Good night for you. All right, now it's good night for Bangalore. And I tell you, it's good morning for Delhi because they're looking at Hyderabad and going, good morning. We're playing these guys. These guys are looking on an absolute roll. I did ask Polly in the com box, which we did at the end of 10 overs, about the umpiring decision, the third umpiring decision. Polly, of course, had no problem with it because of many reasons. He's He's being a bit of a palm tree today. He's swaying with the wind.
I'm watching.
He's done it a few times. But that's all right. It's okay. It's an eliminator. It's a negative kind of day. But I'm going to ask Joy. Joy, did you think there was conclusive enough proof on the replay to overrule the decision of the on-field umpire?
I have a long explanation for you. It is
okay.
N-O.
So I'll just go get myself a couple. Finished. Okay.
No. Okay. Simple fact of life is that at the time that it seemed to be close to the glove, it also was close enough to the body.
Yes.
So the sound you're getting, is it from the ball hitting the body or is the ball hitting the glove, was not conclusive for me. The very fact that the third umpire saw it 6 times told me it was not conclusive. If a guy is seeing something 6 times, he's not sure. If he's not sure, he goes with the on-field umpire. That's what I'm going with, and that's my story, and I'm sticking with it.
But, I mean, Shaun Pollock is saying that he saw Bumrah's Yorker yesterday to Shikhar Dhawan 6 times on replay. Joy, are you saying that's not out as well?
That since the middle stump was knocked out, perhaps. But there's this great story, you know that.
Does it involve methane from the back end?
No, but it involves New Zealand.
Okay.
So in the early days in New Zealand, umpiring was not supposed to be great. Anyone who went to New Zealand saw the umpires. Of course, every team thought that the home umpires were rubbish. So once Chandrasekhar was bowling, and he just couldn't get a single LBW. Finally, he bowls a ball, and all 3 stumps fly out of the ground. Okay, and then he turns to the umpire and says, "How's that?" And the umpire says, "That's bold." He said, "I know that's bold, but is it out?"
It's got to be conclusive.
It's got to be conclusive.
That's what we're saying. It's got to be conclusive. I just want to tell you that the last time that Hyderabad won an eliminator, so you know that the stats are leaning, Polly, the stats are leaning a lot towards the final, always pretty much 7 times out of the last 9 being played between teams that qualify 1 and 2 on the league table. But the aberration in that is Hyderabad, who played an eliminator in 2016, won the next game, and then won the final to go lift the trophy. So they know a bit about being the sore thumb that sticks out.
Yeah, and it's not the path less traveled for them. They've traveled this path before. So we'll have to wait and see. And I mean, in all honesty, you wouldn't bet against them playing against Delhi. I think Delhi have become a little bit scrambled. There is still an opportunity, and maybe they can pull things together and perform well in this next game. But there can't be too much confidence in their camp at the moment from what we've seen in the last 3 or 4 games. Where Sunrise as well, they must be believing. Even today's game, it was a tight one at one stage. 1 wicket you lose, next thing you cannot get over the line. They've once again, under the pressure of being maybe eliminated, produced the goods, and those things do play a part in your psyche as a team. So it's good signs for them.
It's a great line that David Warner used after the match, Joy. He said that Kane Williamson is our banker.
Absolutely safe as ever.
That's right. He really is. I mean, I don't know in India if that's a compliment anymore because most of the banks aren't very safe. But anyway, you know what he means. He probably means a vault. I think, safe as a vault, perhaps. Safe as houses. Yeah, but basically he's just extremely safe and extremely dependable. Well, he is a captain who did not lose the final of a World Cup. Right, Paulie? I didn't lose it.
Yeah, I know about not losing the game and being eliminated. I've been there before.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Okay, you guys know exactly what we're talking about. If you don't, you got to Google it. What are you doing? Come on, guys. We need a certain level of intelligence and knowledge and awareness when you watch this show. That is the minimum qualification. It is very high, I know, but that's what we keep here. Sorry. A very high standard as well for the boost stamina meter. That's right. You got to be expending that energy. And there were a few today who did that. But the person that we are looking at is, well, it's no surprise, really. Jason Holder did it with the bat, did it with the ball. With the ball, it was 3 for 25. His economy rate just over a run a ball. He got the big wickets. Virat Kohli, DDP, Shivam Dube, a little late in the innings. He had a healthy dot ball percentage. His average speed is 130. Paulie, is he a little deceptive as a bowler? Does it come on a little differently than what it seems from his run up and?
Yeah, he'll probably be one of those guys where they use the terminology of he bowls a heavy ball.
Heavy ball.
And often when you face the big tall guys like your Ambrose and your Welshes, what happens is the ball hits the splash. So it just feels like it's got onto you a bit quicker than maybe you expected. And it's that extra bounce can actually make it seem like it's a quicker delivery. But I always laugh when they get into the huddle after getting off a wicket, and you've got Warner there and Goswami, and they're all like looking up to him like that. I mean, he is massive. You actually don't appreciate how tall he is until you go and stand next to him. So he's definitely got that.
The funniest sight in the world is Srivatsa Goswami after taking that catch, trying to high five him. Srivatsa Goswami, in his socks is 5 feet 2.5 inches tall.
Yeah,
and he needed a ladder to go up and.
It's like, it probably needs a strong back like David Warner to go down on fours, and then Srivatsa gets on his back and then high fives Jason Holder. Probably jumps onto his shoulders or something. But it's quite sweet actually, because even when I think we saw that with Saha and Holder as well, because Saha is also not a very tall bloke, and it really looked like uncle and nephew have come out for a game of Sunday cricket. It just looks quite. Yeah, it does look quite sweet. But yes,
talking about Saha, it would be nice if he comes back for them, wouldn't it? I mean, it was a little bit of a weak link there at the top of the order today, and what can we really expect from Goswami? But if they can manage to get Saha fit for the next game, I think that'll be huge for them. It'll be a real plus.
Yeah, cherry on the cake really for Hyderabad. It would be. Remember now, they have 4 wins in a row. And their last 3 in the league were 1, 2, 3. They were Mumbai, Delhi, and Bangalore they defeated. They're starting backwards now on that list. They've already gotten rid of Bangalore. They've got Delhi next. And then perhaps they'll have Mumbai, but not just as yet. We will talk about that game in just a second. Right now, let's talk about the one that was played today. My 11 Circle Ultimate Team of the Day. Let's see. The 11 players, that combination that would have done the best for you. AB de Villiers as captain, obviously, he got the runs and he also got those fantastic catches. Lightning behind the wickets. Jason Holder just behind him in the points. Picked up the 3 wickets and, of course, got the runs, was not out there in the end. And then you have some of the usual suspects, Kane Williamson, David Warner, and T. Natarajan, Yuzi Chahal.
I think our trump card was there. Was our trump card?
Our trump card was Sandeep Sharma. Yeah. No, he wasn't. He kept it tight.
Wasn't.
Virat decided. Okay. Thanks for pointing it out, Paulie.
No, I thought it was. I don't know why. I think that our last about a week back was Natarajan, and that was why when I saw him, I thought that was what we were thinking about. We've done too many of these shows.
That was a little bit of methane from Shaun Pollock.
It hasn't.
That's a topic
been
from now.
It hasn't been a good week for Trump.
Yeah.
That's the best one so far, Paulie. That's superb.
That's very good. Let's see who's won my 11 Circle Champion of the Day. Let's see who's got the most points. It's Sujit Kumar Pal with 410 points. Well done, Sujit.
It's a lot of points for a 130 chaser. It's a lot of points. He's got everything right, that means.
He's got fantastic. Well done. You've got the nod from the master himself. Remember, it's the person who came up with Super Selector back 20 years ago. So if you're getting a nod from Professor Bhattacharya, you're doing something really good. Sujit, his name only has Jeet in it, no? It has to win. Right? Polly, since we are teaching you Hindi today, Jeet is the Hindi for win. So there you go. There's a new one that you have learned today. So, well, that sort of wraps up business for this game. It is Hyderabad who have gone ahead in the Eliminator. They have eliminated Bangalore. Unfortunately, this 2020 season has come to an end for Virat Kohli and his team. They've looked good though. They've looked good in fits and starts. They seem to have a shell of a team that really could make a dent in 2021. So watch out for this team then. You feel like they are going to do some spectacular stuff. Some young players, some internationals, and I don't know, AB de Villiers, will he still be keeping wickets? Well, from what we saw today, Paulie, I think he's got about 4 years in him.
I don't know, about 4, maybe 3.
Maybe 3. Maybe 3. Well, you know something? I'd like him to get his hands around this trophy once before he retires. I think I speak for the entire cricketing fraternity, or the entire cricketing fan fraternity, when we say that everybody's an AB de Villiers fan. Whether you support a team or not, you always support AB de Villiers, known in India as Ibidi. Ibidi. All right, let's move on to our next game. Qualifier, eliminator, or just a semi-final? Let's just call it a semi-final. Delhi and Hyderabad. Jeez, the winner goes to play Mumbai in the final. It's Delhi who they won there. They won their last game of the league. They'd lost 4 before that. And now they lost their previous game against Mumbai, which means, Joy, they're coming into this with 5 losses in 6 games. And Hyderabad is coming into this with 5 wins from 6 games.
Yeah, you have to say moment. Sorry.
No, you say it. It's okay. I'll just 1 sec. Say it.
Okay. Momentum is with.
It's done.
Yeah, it is done. It's done. It's with Hyderabad.
I prefer methane as the M word to momentum. But anyway,
it's with Hyderabad. I think Saha's fitness will be something that they look at. But other than that, this is a team that has confidence. Its batsmen have delivered. Its bowlers has delivered. And all the batsmen are looking in form. Even Manish Pandey, for the time that he was there at the crease, looked very good. David Warner's had another monster season, but that's almost par for the course for him. So Williamson has performed. Holder has performed. What more do they want? I think they've got everything. And I actually thought I liked the look of Priyam Garg till he played. I thought he played some very tricky overs. I think he just gave it away, and you feel so bad that when he played so well in the beginning, to just give it away, Chahal was just too smart for him. I felt a bit bad, but I still think he's a class act. I think Priyam Garg is a class act. He'll have a lot to play in this IPL and many other tournaments.
Polly, for you, I mean, it's just stark contrast in form leading into this game.
Yeah, it is. And, I think that Delhi management will be working behind the scenes, trying to do everything they possibly can. I think team selection-wise, there are some changes they need to make. I think I'd put a Jinky Rana to the top. Prithvi Shaw, for me, misses out. It's been too many bad performances, and they got to get Hitmar back in. I mean, he has had a few innings already in this tournament where he's performed okay.
So Sam's goes for you to make way for Hetmaya.
Yes.
None of the other 3 are going. You get
and you got to get the
put Rahane on top. So you need one bowler then, right? You need an Indian
bowler, yeah.
You need an Indian bowler. So who?
Harshal Patel?
So Harshal Patel, you can go spin also. You can go Praveen Dubey and say that, you play the extra spinner, because if necessary, Stoinis can give you a couple of overs as well.
Well, see, that's interesting that you say that, because today Bangalore on the same surface, they're playing here. They're playing in Abu Dhabi. They've gone with, they went with 4 spinners today. So why can't Delhi go with 3? Joy, you do have a point.
Yeah, because I'm saying that, Deshpande, Harshal Patel hasn't played for about 15 days, okay? He's out of it for a while, okay? Tushar Deshpande has got hammered the last time. Give it to Praveen Dubey, who did a fairly decent job in his last match. Stoinis can anyway bowl a couple of overs and cover for you if necessary. Why give them a weakness? Instead, give them something different.
And after last night's game, how did they leave Akshar Patel out at any stage?
Yeah.
Oh my word, that doesn't make sense. I mean, he just showed me once again last night that he's proper. I mean, his contribution with the bat, he's done brilliantly with the ball. His facts and figures look superb. So yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. But I think the key is the batting. How do you get the batting right? They have to put a score on the board. It's been, I think, besides Sheikh Dhawan, who got those 200s and then the 2 zeros, Jinkia got a score.
There was one. Stoinis got 1. There was one Shreyas Iyer, 88 odd in Sharjah.
I think that was all before. Yeah. So it's the last 5 or 6 games that they really haven't struck anything together. And they've got to think we've got to get it right at some stage. So, yeah, I would go to those options, and I would get Hitmar back in.
So in the 9 games, I'm being told that in the last 9 games that Delhi has played, in 7 of them, they've got a single-digit opening partnership. If you are going to, I mean, it doesn't even last the opening over. You lose a wicket in the first over with such alarming regularity. It's just bound to put pressure on just everyone else around you. I mean, it can cause, and it's been causing a domino effect in most cases. Joy, it's like a cycle stand.
Yeah, and they dropped Prithvi for a couple of matches, just to get his head around, put him away, said, okay, go relax. It's part motivation, part, resting him. It hasn't worked so far. So I don't know what else they're going to do. My sense, though, Polly, is that they're going to play the same team. My sense is they're too far down this road. They're going to play the same team. And I don't necessarily agree with them, but I understand why they're doing it. My sense is they'll go with the same team and said, we've lived with this. If you're going to die, we die with this, because just making a change is not going to help. And Hetmeyer, where his head is at, is also, it's not exactly that when Hetmeyer got his chances, he said he had one decent innings as well. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the option is, but I think they'll stick with this.
Polly, real quick question. I mean, you've mentored enough young players. You've been around prolific talents who, sometimes, there's talented players who way over deliver to expectations. And then there's some who under deliver. And this season, Prithvi Shaw and Rishabh Pant, unfortunately for Delhi, the young guns, they're much heralded, sort of next gen. They just haven't got what they wanted, not even close to what they wanted from both Prithvi and Rishabh. What do you do? What are you seeing? Because I'm seeing a little bit of a scrambled mind on the outside with these two youngsters.
Yeah, it's always interesting to work with the individual and get to know him, get to work out what makes him tick. And what you can or can't do. Some guys, like to keep it very simple, so you don't give them a complex game plan, whereas others like to absorb everything. For example, Marnus Labuschagne does seem like one of those guys who wants to absorb from a lot of people when he plays his kind of cricket, and Steve Smith would probably be the same. But I mean, even if I go back to 2009 when we had the IPL here in South Africa, I just think of the four young guys that we had out 2 weeks before the tournament started was Saurabh Tiwari, Ajinkya Rahane, Manish Pandey, and Shikhar Dhawan. I mean, those were the four guys that we had a camp for 2 weeks with, and all of them are very different in their own minds, their approach, how they like to do things. And I mean, also in South Africa, for example, we would just regard a net session as a net session. It's just like a hit out, you go and try and work on your skills a little bit. Whereas what I did find is that a lot of the Indian young kids, a net session is like a trial. And when they walk out of that net, they want to know, they want to have the affirmation that, I'm playing well and that you believe in me. And then they would come up to you after the net and you're like, okay, you're good. And they would like, no, but I need more. I need to know that I'm going to be playing kind of thing, Yeah. So you need to get to the bottom of what the individual psyche is. And I think somewhere along the line, Prithvi Shaw's got a little bit confused with how he should or shouldn't play. It can be down to the fact that maybe he just likes to walk out and whack it from ball one. And maybe the management, for example, have said to him, well, maybe just take a few balls, get yourself in. And he's tried to do that in 3 or 4 occasions and got out. So now he's caught between how many more balls to wait here, or do I just walk in and try and whack the first one I see? So you don't know what the inside track is, but I'm saying those are the kind of things that you've got to get to the bottom of. Even Ajinkya Rahane, who sat on the side, when he's got his chances, his feet haven't seemed to be moving like they used to when he's playing in the Test series. And it's just shortage of game time. And then eventually he gets a 60, not out. You think, okay, good, he's back. And then he's out first ball the next match. So, yeah, it's sometimes it's just about getting to know your player, trying to take as much pressure off him, making sure that he feels like he's got options. Because the loneliest place in Indian cricket is when you feel like you've got no options and nothing to turn to. Whereas if you have got options, you've got a better chance.
I think the same thing is happening to Shreyas Iyer that perhaps has been happening to Virat Kohli with Bangalore, where you just don't know if it's not you where it's going to come from, and he's not getting it from Prithvi and Rishabh. So, yeah, bit of pressure on the Delhi captain as well, and he's definitely much better than the returns he has got this season. So, well, for the Delhi team, definitely questions. And as you can see, we've given you a lot of options, and we have no idea where Delhi is going to go. But, I mean, if you think that you are confused right now, I'm just thinking, I hope that the Delhi management is not confused about the 11 that they want to pick. Eventually, they got to go with the thought. Are they going to go with 3 spinners? Or are they going to go with 3 international pacers? And do they want to bolster their batting with an international star in Shimron Hetmeyer? So we'll know that, of course, with Hyderabad. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, mister. Nope. If Saha's not broke, thankfully, hopefully, then he's going to come back into the team, obviously. He's going to take Shrivats Goswami's spot, who took his spot today, and Hyderabad will really be hoping that they can get him back, because that would just be the icing and the sprinkles and the cherry on this cake, Joy.
Absolutely. I don't think they want anything else. He's also a very calming presence. Just as you're talking about a calming presence that Williamson gives you, Holder gives you. I mean, Riddhiman Shah is a very, very seasoned international cricketer, very calm in the dressing room. He's superb to have in the dressing room. So all these guys, bring you something in the field that goes beyond just their performances. And of course, Trevor Bayliss is the master of, getting limited resources and doing a lot with them. I mean, one World Cup win, one World Cup final, 2 IPL championships with Kolkata. He's done everything.
I wonder what conversation Trevor Bayliss and Kane Williamson have.
See, firstly, Trevor Bayliss doesn't have too many conversations. He'll grunt and look at you and something. But something makes you feel that, okay, the job has to be done. Do it. Yeah. Minimum of emotion expressed, but the maximum calmness and work done. It's just, you don't feel really somebody's attacking you when he speaks, because he speaks very generally. Nor does he ever lift you and make you on top of the world. You know what I mean?
Pragmatic.
He just keeps it there.
Yeah.
Keeps it there, and he's smart. Very, very smart about his players.
Polly, Bayliss is no reason to grunt at Williamson. It's probably the other way around, right? Williamson's got reason to grunt at Bayliss.
No, he'll just say, well, wait, okay, fine.
Yeah, that's what you can see. It's just so much calmness and coolness. Sorry, Polly, you were saying?
No, I think Kane Williamson is probably one of those guys who doesn't need much affirmation, really. He's worked it out. He knows what he's trying to achieve, and he'll probably just walk, good job, bud.
Yeah,
nice job.
That's it.
Looking forward to your next one.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of calmness in the Hyderabad team, and there's another C word in the Delhi team, not capitals, confusion, just a little bit. So they'd be hoping that they can sort that out by day after tomorrow. Well, we've sorted out some confusion here. There was some confusion about the Joy Factor question because he asked about a person with 3 nicknames. The man with 3 nicknames. What's the name of the man with 3 nicknames?
Absolutely. One derived from his initials, one from a player in another sport sharing his surname, and one from his devotion to one of his...
Don't give the answer. Don't give the answer yet. Don't give the answer. Let us, just help us. Help us, Joy, please. So one derived from his initials, don't tell us that. One from a player in another sport sharing his surname. Give us that.
Yeah, look, rugby guy.
What was the sport?
Rugby.
Alfie was the guy's name. Alfie was the other nickname.
Alfie.
And
okay.
The third
question.
Wait, no, this is New Zealand now.
Yeah, it is.
Alfie.
Back to the question, come on.
Okay, and the third is he loved his captain. His captain was called Tugger. So he was called Mini Tugger.
Well, Tugger was Australian. That's Mark Taylor was Tugger, wasn't he?
Not Mark Taylor.
That's Tubby, sorry. Tugger was Steve Waugh. Tubby was Mark Taylor. So he loved Tugger. So then this is Mark Waugh then.
No, why he wouldn't love? I mean, if his brother's supposed to love brothers, you're not going to be called out for it.
Devotion to one.
This is
Justin Langer.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Justin Langer.
Yeah. Woo-hoo. Because I knew he loved Steve Waugh.
JL, and he loved Alfie Langer was his rugby player, so that's why he got his name from Alfie Langer. He's called Alfie because Australians have these Langer to Langer nicknames. And he loved Steve Waugh as captain, so he's called Mini Tugger. So those were his nicknames.
Well, I mean, if they have that, then they could have also called him Mayanti. We've got...
Why they would call him Mayanti? Yeah, they would call him Mayanti.
Nickname him after Akbar. Come on, I'm putting that hat in the ring. Well, anyway.
I like it.
Yeah, well, we look after our own, don't we? All right, let's see who our winner is. There was the first correct answer to come in. Harjas.
I haven't seen Harjas as well. Good.
Harjas Batla is what I'm guessing. HRJ Batla. So congratulations, a new winner today.
Absolutely.
New winner. I wish we also knew which part of the world you're coming from. You never know because we're getting answers from all over the world. Very well could be coming in from Australia itself. So just thinking next time you guys are giving in answers, just let us know where you are as well. It would just be an additional thing. And honestly, if you're sitting in a place which is unglamorous, just make it glamorous. Just say, I'm sitting in South of France. Just like that. Type it exactly like that. Sitting in South of France. All right, it is time for us to go now. Yes. That's it. Is that over? That's it. Can we talk some more? You like it? This tournament's almost over. I'm just getting withdrawal symptoms suddenly. It's like, I don't know what I'm going to do on the 11th. So let's just do a little bit. How are you, Shaun? What's up? What you having for dinner today?
I'll be sure you'll be having risotto again.
No, risotto place is shut. Simon Doole's never coming back to India because we managed to shut the risotto place close to Cricbuzz. So unless me or Abhideep learn to cook risotto, Dooley's not coming back, and it looks like Polly may not come back as well. So we'll get it sorted by the next time. Thank you very much to Shaun Pollock. Thank you so much for joining us. And big thank you to Joy Bhattacharjya as well. Thank you for joining us. We, of course, will see you day after, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's a day off. Need some day off. We've got the women's cricket tomorrow, don't we, Joy? Is there a game tomorrow? Yeah, there is. So there you go. You can watch that. And do remember that there will be Cricbuzz Live on the final, which is on the 9th. So, of course, there's going to be live chat here. Yeah. What do you think, man? It's a final. Of course, we're going to be here with the Cricbuzz Live. And tomorrow in the game, you'll have Lisa Stalekar's insights and blogs as well. So it's all the cricket that we're covering here. If it's happening in the UAE, we're covering it here on Cricbuzz Live. You were watching My 11 Circle Presents Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur saying good night. We'll see you here to look at the semi-final day after tomorrow, 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Goodbye.